Brilliance Audio.
Early Grave by Paul Levine. Performed by Scott Merriman. Dr. Rochelle Stein asked, "So is this your first time in couples therapy?" "No," Melissa said. "Yes," I said. "And off we go." Dr. Stein smiled pleasantly. She was in her 60s with a placid face and silver hair pulled back into a simple ponytail. Her office furniture was blonde wood, neat and orderly, sending the subliminal message that her life was not as messy as yours. She wore a serape in the tawny, rusty shades of desert rocks and sat cross-legged in her leather chair. No notebook, no pen. I'm used to a court stenographer taking down everything, so I hoped the shrink had a good memory when it came time to referee. "We had one session with a therapist," Melissa said. "Someone Jake suggested." Dr. Melissa Gold, a neuropathologist, was way too smart to be my fiancée. But human beings are not rational, no matter how many Ivy League diplomas decorate their walls. Melissa specialized in chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, which has struck down several of my former teammates, and might be depositing sticky gunk in my brain cells even now. Melissa was a tall, slender woman with reddish-brown hair and a dusting of freckles across her nose. She had just come from her lab and was still wearing a blue hospital smock with the University of Miami logo. Not only was she too smart for me, but too damn good-looking, too. Sure, there was a time when women seeking merriment rather than thoughtfulness found a big lug like me diverting entertainment. But these days, I look like what I am. A graying, aging jock with bum knees and a busted nose that never properly healed. And yet, here we were, bit players in the great cosmic mystery of love. "All right," Dr. Stein said. "You were in your first session with Ms. Bubbles French, LCSW, Melissa said. "Bubbles?" Dr. Stein arched her eyebrows. "An old nickname," I said, as the first flames of a migraine singed my skull. "It's Corinne French, a clinical social worker who does psychotherapy." "Jake had just admitted he was keeping things from me," Melissa said. "Secrets he wouldn't share. Then Ms. French says, 'Jake, back when you used to call me Bubbles because I loved champagne, did you also have secrets?'" Dr. Stein arched her eyebrows again, even higher. "Maybe it's a trick they teach in shrink school." "Jake, were you and Miss French lovers?" "Lovers is a stretch," I protested. My migraine was joined by its first cousin, tinnitus, a brass band heavy on cornets and drums banging in my ears. "Do you deny having sex with her?" Melissa demanded, sounding like a prosecutor with all the goods. If I denied the accusation, she might nail me with wiretaps and DNA. "Sex, sure, but we weren't a thing. It was casual," Dr. Stein volunteered. "Exactly. Totally cash." I dragged out the word, trying to sound hip circa 1990. I was hanging on to the last roster spot with the Dolphins. Bubbles, Ms. French, was a choreographer in a strip club, Melissa added, helpfully. "So why hide this relationship from your fiancé?" Dr. Stein asked. "It was a zillion years ago. I barely remember those days." "Convenient." Melissa turned to the shrink. "Jake's memory problems relate to recent events, not a zillion years ago." "Very well," Dr. Stein said. "But let's focus on why you're in couples therapy." "Jake never used to keep secrets," Melissa said. 3 weeks ago, after telling me his cardiologist gave him a clean bill of health, I discovered he's been taking 2 medications for atrial fibrillation. Also, without telling me, he went to the hospital for electrical cardioversion." "My ticker has a little flutter. It's no big deal," I said. "You're at a much higher risk of a stroke," Melissa fired back. "And a heart attack," Dr. Stein said.